What's up, you guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Chit Chats with Ada. If this is the first time you're visiting my channel, you know what to do. Subscribe, please. You have to help us move to the permanent side. Your subscription matters. Today, I'll be talking about motherhood, navigating motherhood as a mother of a toddler and twin babies. That's my story. What are you doing? Chill, relax, and enjoy this gist. I'm going to be gisting with you guys. It's chit chat. Anyway, for those of you that don't really know me, like I said, I have 3 kids. Brian is currently 14 years old, and his twin brothers are 11 going to 12. So they just turned 11. How do I define motherhood? I want to define motherhood in my own way. Motherhood, in my own definition, not the dictionary definition or anybody's. My definition of motherhood is multitasking. That's the word, one word. Should I say it's a synonym to motherhood in my own way? Yeah, if you are a mom, see, whether you're lazy, strong, you are the mother that, you must learn. Like, you just become automatically a good multitasking person. So that's how I define motherhood. Now, having kids in the past, when I was growing up, I watched my mom have my younger brother, our last born. And I noticed the way women rallied around her, even from the church. You know, you hear things like, oh, group 2 women, Sister Teresa, so gave birth to group 2 women. You people go and bathe. You see women taking turns to help bathe the child, coming to help out at home, at least till the point where they can come out or do their dedication. So they take it as they do it with joy, they do it with so much happiness. But in this dispensation, I laugh in Urobo. You have a child, you are on your own. I don't really want to say you're on your own, because some people are really lucky till this date where they have relations. Their mom can come and stay for 3 months, help them. In my case, it was not like that. My mom was still working. For Brian, her omugwo lasted for 3 weeks. For the twins, her omugwo lasted for less than 3 weeks. Yes, she was working. So she had limited time to stay with me. I can remember when she came for omugwo for my first son, Brian, and it was time for her to go. Omo, I burst into tears. This will not be big girl or hey, I'm married. Omo, I wept. She was asking, why are you crying? I said, I don't know what to do. At least I know that sometimes she'll carry the baby, I'll go and nap. I was crying because I was confused. Not like I was really confused. I remember a week before she left, she told me to sit down, bathe the baby in front of her. So she's sure that I can actually bathe a newborn. You know, she kept giving me tips. When the baby is sleeping, go and sleep. The house must not be perfect. Blah, blah, blah. I know yeah, although that particular one, I know yeah, I'm still forming superwoman. So she left, and what I started doing was, then I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't working. I was just a wife. But still, even at being a wife, looking after a newborn baby is a full-time job. What's a newborn baby? Children, in fact, is a full-time job. So when she left, I started working on my time, planning my time, wake up in the morning, the baby is still sleeping. I refused to listen to her. She said, when the baby is sleeping, go and sleep. I did not hear. Coconut head. I will get up, when my husband leaves for work, I'll start cleaning the house, making sure the kitchen is shining, making sure, Omo. By the time I bathe, try to lie down, Brian is awake, baby is awake, and it was like terrible. Yeah, I know. I remember coming to the sitting room if I want to watch TV, because I didn't have anybody living with me. I was alone. I would bring everything I need from the room to the sitting room. Brian was a child that never actually gave issues. The only time you see him really, really cry, maybe it's uncomfortable, or he needs his diaper changed, or he's sick, running temperature, immunization. I'm just remembering, I tried, Sha. The work not be here, hey, having a baby. That's why when I hear people say, don't you want a girl that will look like you? What am I? Am I not a girl? I am. ADA, aka baby girl for life. Brian didn't really give me stress, but you know, baby will always be a baby, cry here once, but it was not that cry. He's someone that allowed other people carry him, but just that I didn't have anybody around. My sister was still in school, my mom was working, relations are all settled, all my cousins are older than me, married. Who won't come follow me stay? Like, I didn't have anybody. And that was that. I walked through Brian. I was with Brian till at least he was 1. I think when I took in for, I've already told that story. So if you want to hear about my conception, go back to that video and go and hear about all the taking in. So Brian grew up, started school. I think when they start school, it's a little easier because you prepare them, they go to school. You have that window from 8 in the morning. Maybe you drop them at school at 7, 7:30, 6:30, whatever. You have that window from that 6, 7:30 to bathe, clean the house, rest, sleep a little before it's 1 o'clock too for you to go pick them, you know. So I moved Brian. When Brian started school, it was a little easier. And then I took in, if you watch my previous video, you know the story. I'm fast forwarding down to the twins. And so when I had the twins, of course, with CS, it was really, really, really difficult. Having the twins was, because the twins, you have to make sure one is sleeping, put that one down, carry the other one, make sure that one is sleeping, put that one down. You're bathing 2 kids at the same time. With CS, I didn't really have any, but my mom left like less than 3 weeks. So I remember if I'm bathing the twins, I have to make sure I bath Brian almost immediately because I don't think I have that time with my situation. And my surgeries are usually not easy. There are these, I call them old school surgery, you know, when they butcher you, not now you have cosmetic kind of cuts and all that. It doesn't work that way. It didn't work that way for me. So with all that pain, you know, taking care of the kids, husband works morning 9 to 5 job. So I was usually alone. And then thank God for Brian. You see that boy, know they give wahala. You know, I would just take care of him in the morning, just put him in front of the TV if he's on holiday and he's watching his Barney, dancing to Barney. The only time you see him come to you is when he's hungry or he needs your attention or he needs to poo. Thank God for Brian. Brian was not that toddler that used to cry and throw tantrums and scattering everywhere. See, till now, I cannot stand children that behave like that because my own children did not behave like that. I'm not saying everybody's child must be like my own, but I beg. See the way I'm even angry, Seth, I beg. So moving on to the twins. The twins were also not problematic. They were not the cry. But I know that where they really cry is at night when they really need to eat at night. And mind you, I stopped breastfeeding them at 4 months because it wasn't satisfying them anymore. But Brian too, on his own at 4 months, stopped breastfeeding by himself because we tried formula just to try, and he just fell in love with formula and abandoned my breasts. But the twins also, they didn't stop breastfeeding. I stopped them because they actually preferred the formula, and I think it was more filling for the 2 boys. Boys eat a lot. Quote me anyway, baby boys eat a lot. It wasn't enough for them, so I had to switch to formula. But after some time, they left my breast alone. Yeah, so they stopped at 4 months. So the issue I had with the twins mostly was when I was trying to transition them from feeding at night to having a normal life, because they will eat, they have their intervals at which they eat. Maybe they eat around 7, go to bed, they wake up again around 10, 11, eat, go to bed around 3, 4, they wake up again. Like, it changes. Like from their earlier stage in life, it's like you feed them almost 3, 4, 5 times at night. As they're growing, it's reducing. So I had to really eliminate that night feeding so that when they were approaching 8 months, going to 1 year, I had to eliminate night feeding so that they learn how to sleep through the night. I just give them water if they wake up. It was really hard. That was where they actually cried and gave me a lot of they showed me that they were twins. They showed me Pepper, 2 of them. They were crying as if they gave them a job. Like, this one will shout, like they cry in solidarity. This one is crying, this one is answering in soprano, this one is answering in tenor, and most times you just get confused. Yeah, I'm not going to exclude postpartum depression. It's real. It's real. I'll talk about that in another video. Probably I would actually invite another mom to actually share her opinion on how she navigated this era through how she went through this particular era of her life too. Yeah. So that was the major challenge I had with the twins, trying to transition them from night feeding to like eating normally, you know, wake up in the morning, eat, bathe, and all that. I did that. I tried to transition them from 8 months, 9, 10 to 1 year so that they have a normal night life. as I have, so it doesn't really stress me out. And then it now gets to the point where they start learning how to crawl. At a point you are praying that they start crawling so that they leave your hand. The stress is so much. You have Brian, and the helps I was getting then, they didn't like a house where there are 2 newborn babies. In fact, they don't like houses where there are newborn babies. They don't stay. And most of them will come when they bring them, like the nannies they bring for me. Madam, I don't know saying that twins you born. No, I for not take the work. They tell me to my face. Now, those that can't tell you to your face, they'll work for 1 month, tell you that their grandfather died. In fact, this house help and nanny issue should be another topic. Tell you that their great grandfather died, that they need to go and they'll run away, collect their salary, and some of them will even just walk out on you without telling you. So it was a huge problem. I was actually stressed, and based on the kind of person when I be, when the twins were like 6 months old, that was when I decided to start up a business, start up something for myself. So whenever I need to travel to Aba to get stuff for my party planning business, I used to supply party packs, plan parties for 1-year-olds and all that. That's what I started with. I take them to a crèche and just pay for the day, and then go to market, buy my stuff, bring them back, go pick them up from the crèche, make dinner. I was doing that alone. My helps were not lasting because the twins were really small, so that was that. So they start crawling. Crawling is another job. When you catch one twin, the one twin is running to the television, you go catch them, bring them back. Before you would even hold that one, the other one has jumped out of the stroller or whatever and is running to that same place. So it was really, really chaotic, really chaotic. Then if you visit me, hey, I'll be so happy because at least you can hold the baby for like 30 minutes. Let me even cook, boil water, or do something. So having done cesarean, like having a C-section and having a toddler, having twins, a toddler that needs to go to school in the morning without anybody helping out, it's a huge job. Like I said, I had zero assistance. I remember when they were crawling, there was a time the kids were crawling and they were stooling. It was so bad that it was severe diarrhea. They were stooling out water, not even feces again. And Brian was running temperature. I was alone. I remember at a point when it was getting too serious, I had to jack the twins. Just tell Brian, go, Brian, walk in front of me. Like, led him to the car, opened the car door with one hand, pushed him into the front seat. I carried the twin. I put him at the back seat. I strapped him in, put one of the twins on the front seat with the sitter, and held one in my hand, driving to the hospital. Emergency. They were running temperature, stooling. Brian was running temperature, but he wasn't stooling. And then when I got to the hospital, while I was trying to come down from the car, I carried the twin, told Brian to come down, carrying the baby diaper bag. One of the twin pulled on my body, like the whole whatever. In fact, I stood by the car and started crying. Like, I was like this helpless. I just started crying. Thinking about it now is even making me feel all emotional. Like, I started crying by the car there, and one woman just walked up. I don't know her till today. She just walked up to me and said, "Let me help you." So she carried one of the twins and carried Brian and told me to put myself together and escorted me into the hospital. She was with me all through till they put us on admission, set lines and all that. See, having twins, when these kids were on admission, Brian was on admission, the twins, at least Brian was even staying in one place manageably. The twins, when they are on admission, I don't eat, I don't drink water, nothing, because while they have the lines, you have to hold them down, sit in front of them, holding them down like this for hours so that they don't move or shake. I had to hold the twins down. You don't move, because once you leave them, they are babies, they are young, they are toddlers. They would pull out the line, the cannula. They'll pull out the cannula, and they'll have to now start looking for their veins all over again. I remember one time when Brian was sick, that was when he was still like 6 months old or so, and he had like an infection, whatever. So they needed to set a line and they couldn't find his vein. So they had to shave his head. I remember that day, Kai. They were shaving his head, looking for the vein. Brian was crying. Me, I was crying. The doctors were like, "Madam, I don't understand. Now you be the pikin." As Brian was shouting, me too, I was shouting, crying. They told me to leave. That I should leave leave the whatever the space so that they can concentrate. When I stepped out of that place, I was still crying. I called everybody I knew to cry. Brian, I was like, it was such, it's painful watching your child go through that. They had to put the needle on his skull. That was the only place. They didn't see vein on his leg. They didn't see vein anywhere. The boy, they shout, me and they shout. They were crying. I was crying. Two of us were crying. Brian was, and then he was looking at me the way he was crying, like, Mommy, look at me. Like the baby was looking, Brian was a baby, was looking at me like, Mommy, see what they are doing to me, and you're letting them. He was looking at me crying. And that thing alone was breaking me into pieces. I kept weeping, so they chased me out. Anyway, they did that. He got better, they took it out and all that. And that's the first and only time that that kind of thing happened, that kind of ailment, serious like that. But aside that, my kids don't really fall sick so often. So whenever they fall sick, I'm always very concerned, actually. So that was one of the episodes I had in the hospital where I was alone. I had nobody at a point. So motherhood is very difficult. Sometimes you lose your mind. Sometimes you just sit down and cry for no reason. Sometimes when these kids are crying, the twins are crying, you're just overwhelmed. You don't know what to do. You don't even know how to soothe them. You don't know what to say to them because you do everything. Carry them, shake them. You know, I'll put one in a bouncer, bouncing that one, carrying one, rocking them like this. And then, oh God, thank you for Brian. I keep saying it. Brian was a child that didn't stress me. Just imagine having those twins screaming like that with that high velocity, and maybe they are sick or going through something, and then Brian too is there rolling on the floor, throwing tantrums. I would have not survived. I don't know. Well, maybe I would have. I don't know. Anyway, so Brian started school. The twins at a point, they grew up, had their first birthday, and then after a while, I think when they were 2, they started school. So that was where things started getting easier for me. The job does not end. The job doesn't end. You would think that, when they walk, you're teaching them how to eat, you're teaching them how to use their cutlery to put food in their mouth. So many things. Like, it doesn't just end. Even right now, when I already have a teenager, Brian is a teenager, and his brothers are coming up right behind him. We are still trying to teach them a lot, even though it's better now. I'm not carrying babies around, but all I'm trying to say is that the job doesn't end. I was having this conversation with my friend. I'll call your name. I know they fear you, Damilola. And she was saying, we were talking about it, and we're like, the job doesn't end. That she knows that because her mom is not actually doing much, but she does not sleep for them. She's always praying for them. Every mother does that, So we're just talking about it, like, even when the children are grown, married, settled, you are still worrying. There's this mother stuff there's something about motherhood. It doesn't end. It's just like they say about teachers, our reward is in heaven, but more reward me small here before we reach heaven. So the twins started school. Brian was already in school. After that, it got easier. My business was easier. And funny enough, in my own situation, I always preferred it when my kids were on holidays. Yeah, because my kids don't give issues. So school run is like became a problem because I might be servicing a client and then it's 2 o'clock. You need to run out. So that was like the pattern for years before we shipped them off to boarding school for their own good. We'll talk about that later. So going to school was easy, but because of my kind of business, I provided services, and you'll be at something very important. It's time to run to go pick the kids. So when they're on holidays, I'm usually very happy, especially when I have when I have somebody helping me and they're on holidays. I like it because they're at home, they're just watching TV. They're cool kids. My kids are cool. They don't really give much. Especially as they said, growing up, it became easier. They don't really have that whole drama of fighting with each other. They just drag 1 or 2 things and, mommy, he took my this, that's it. So I actually preferred my kids staying at home for the holidays. When other parents are looking for where to take the kids to, looking for summer lessons and all that, I can't even do summer lessons because I'm going to rest. I'm not waking up very early to prepare them. I'm waking up anytime I like, going to my studio, going to do stuff. I'm not under pressure. So I preferred it. Other parents may not prefer that, but I liked it when they were always on holiday till today. I like it when they're on halls. Okay, so that's that for my kids. And like I said in my last video, motherhood is very challenging. It challenges you mentally. Motherhood challenges you physically. Motherhood challenges you spiritually, every aspect it challenges you. So I don't think motherhood is having kids is something you should just jump into, especially when you're not married, because I think this is another topic again. Like, kids, babies have a way of straining relationships, especially when I think it's a different topic anyway. Motherhood is very challenging and should be thought about properly, in quotes, simio, thought about properly before going into it. And I would say this again, I pray for every mom, every woman out there looking for the fruit of the womb or trying to have their own children by whatever means, by IVF, surrogacy, whatever, adoption. I pray that God grants you your heart desires. So also, my advice to new mothers or mothers to be, if you have relatives that are willing to help, please accept every help possible. And if your husband or spouse to be is very domestic, you're a lucky person, because at least when they come around, even if they are working, when they come around, you know that when they are home, they're going to help you out here and there. So it will make life a lot easier for you. So now, if not, it can be very overwhelming in a very good and bad way. So that's motherhood for you. So, all right, guys, I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear about, now, you don't really need to have a child of your own for you to drop a comment. You must have lived with your sister, lived with your auntie, their children. Tell us how you guys navigated motherhood together, or how you helped your sister, helped your auntie, your uncle take care of their kids, habits, little things, anything you can tell us. I just want to hear your opinion. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and make sure you drop a comment. Hi guys, thank you so much for watching. I remain Ada Igwe, aka i2sabbi, and you're watching Chit Chat with Ada. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.